Hi, and welcome to the Law Simplified, the world's largest independent online law school platform. I'm your instructor, Shaveen Bandadnaika. This is a relatively different kind of video. One you would have realized to be as such, looking at the title and the thumbnail as well. The reason for this video, first and foremost, is because having taught students in my Fast Track and Masterclass program, as well as on the online law school platform, which you can access through the links in the description and is now complete with comprehensive theory, tutorial, and workshop lessons based on the actual one-on-ones that I've conducted with my Fast Track and Masterclass students who've gone on to achieve first-class law degrees globally, is that most students, when they actually think about and commit to doing a law degree or a professional qualification in law, and then to try and enter into the profession, have almost no idea of what the profession is really like. Now, the reason why most of you would have clicked on this video is either because you've subscribed to this channel for quite some time, you're a law student, or you're a legal professional trying to make your way in the fraternity, or someone who has gone down the rabbit hole of understanding what it really takes to do law in the first place, and you've come across this channel. You would be now well aware of the fact that just as much as Grey's Anatomy, for example, is not an accurate description of the medical profession, neither would Suits be an accurate description of being a lawyer, a solicitor, or a barrister at that. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, and I'm not trying to project any negativity. For those of you who followed the content on this channel, as well as the past decade of teaching online, you'd know that I've always believed in the fact that the rising tide lifts all ships. And it's through education, knowledge, know-how, and experience that I'm trying to impart on all of you a few aspects of the legal fraternity on the one hand and legal education on the other that you need to keep well abreast of and be aware of before you step into this fraternity or this subject area altogether. If you like the type of content that I make on this YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on, do subscribe to the Law Simplified and leave a comment below of what your experiences have been, being a student of law as well as someone in the profession, someone who has gone through the mill, so to speak, so that others who discover this video and this channel will be able to extract something worthwhile and informative from your experience as well. What I've been trying to impart on you up until this point in this video is that don't compartmentalize and cocoon yourself to one sliver or one slice of what law is. What do I mean by this? More often than not, we tend to fall in love with law after seeing either a movie, a TV show, or maybe having witnessed firsthand an experienced solicitor, barrister, or a lawyer in your jurisdiction be on his feet and perform. And by all means, it is quite romantic at that, it's quite alluring, and you too at some stage in your life would want to pursue a life and career in law. And 99% of the time, there is an aspect of reward, there is an aspect of fulfillment at the end of it. However, the road to that success and the road to feeling fulfilled is oftentimes laid, so to speak, with a number of obstacles that will make you second guess and question your decision. Now, having been a legal educator, someone who has tutored students and created course material and seen the comments as well as the strifes of most students over the past decade, not just from one jurisdiction, from one ethnicity and one background, but globally. Not just students who are just coming out of their schooling or their high school and going into university, but also mid-career and end-career professionals who are thinking of pivoting to law I can tell you that one common denominator is what you see has never been what you get. Most students encounter a number of hurdles that no university, institute, or even another professional in the industry has been able to communicate to them. And those are those nuances, those little cracks that appear in terms of the academics and the professional career of law that one might be surprised to encounter. There are elements in law that are not as straightforward as many other professions. For example, if you're a medical practitioner, if you are intending to be a doctor, there is a streamlined path. And yes, there is a tessellation of what speciality or what specialization you might go into, but for the most part, there is an A to Z process. The same can be said of being an engineer, a software developer. But when it comes to law, most people think of law as being a monolith. What I mean by that is that there is an A to Z pathway and there is one end result: a barrister, a solicitor, a lawyer. In the 21st century, this could be the furthest from the truth. On a number of different occasions on this very YouTube channel, as well as the different platforms the Law Simplified is disseminated on, I've tried to impress on all of you to not just start the process from scratch, but try and figure out what you want to achieve at the end and work backwards. Depending on what exactly you want to achieve, what your goals are in terms of the fraternity, the end result will be vastly different from one to the other. This by no means is a qualification or an area that you should wing it, so to speak. You can't get into it and then figure your way out in between. It is actually necessary to have a solid grounding, a cemented understanding of what options are available to you at the very end, what pitfalls might be there, and get into that particular outcome or the goal, and then try and figure out the qualifications, the universities, the firms maybe, or the pathway in general that you have to take. Have a look at the career guidance playlist on this YouTube channel, which I will link to in the description below, and it will appear on screen as well. This is my best effort at trying to show you as a potential student on the one hand, or a student who is intending to now pivot into your career prospects, or even a mid-career professional trying to pivot the career altogether, on what options are available and what you have to look out for. Because it's much easier to motivate and tell you on what you gain and what you will get towards the end of your aspirant goals than to actually show you what exactly you might need to look out for. And as negative as that may sound, that would be more helpful than really just the motivation alone and just to hype you up. So make sure you have a look at that playlist, and there's a number of videos out there that I've mentioned exactly what goals will require what qualification on the one hand, and what professional aspects and attributes and skills that not only would you have to grow, but you might have to innately have to succeed. For example, a barrister has a relatively extroverted personality, someone who has the ability to have almost copious amounts of PR, very charismatic, not afraid to talk in public, and very analytical and argumentative. That does not mean that there's no opportunity in law. If you don't have those skill sets, or if you haven't grown those characteristics, there are plenty of other pathways, and I've explored those more in detail in the videos in the career guidance section, so do have a look. Right, once again, the reason for this video is because I've taught hundreds of thousands of students on a one-on-one basis over the past decade. These students range not just in age, but geographical location, as well as their own personal life circumstances. Everyone from 18, 19-year-olds to 65, 70-year-olds I've taught. And what I've understood is that every single person has different circumstances, but more often than not have one solid or singular view on what law is, which is problematic. because law is not a singularity. It is not something that is so monolithic that you have only one outcome. It's not a single input, single output scenario. It may be a minimal input in terms of the ways in which you can approach as well as enter legal education, but it's vastly different when it comes to the output. There are so many different pathways that a legal professional has now more than ever before. So it's important when you're getting into this, it's not just simply to think, I'm going to do law. It's far better to start framing your mindset to thinking of what in law that you will ultimately be doing. That being said, until the next time that we speak, have fun, stay safe, and as always, obey the law.